Volunteer time is the asset most organizations don't track and wish they did. Drill credit for FEMA grants. Public service hours for amateur radio license renewals. Workers' compensation eligibility. Documentation for tax-exempt status. Everyone needs a record of who did what when. TicketsCAD's time tracking is built for the volunteer use case. Either to log. Optional admin approval. Configurable auto-approve for low overhead ops. Open your own member detail. Time log card. Recent entries. Each row, date, activity type, hours, status. Log time button. Modal opens. Activity type, drop-down. Net, drill, public service event, training, meeting, EOC watch, field operations, equipment maintenance, other. Started at date time. Use the picker or type. Ended at same. Incident, optional. Link to a specific incident if this time was responding to one. Notes, free form. What you did, where you were, anything useful for the after action. Submit. Entry saved. Status self-reported by default. 9 seated types cover most volunteer activities. Net, radio net check-in or net control duty. Drill, formal training drill or simulated activation. Public service event, comm support for a planned event. Training, class, study session, self-study. Meeting, committee or business meeting. EOC watch, deployed at the Emergency Operations Center. Field operations, deployed in the field. Equipment maintenance, antenna work, gear repair. Other, anything else. Admins can edit the type list. Add custom types. Disable types you don't use. Configure auto-approve per type. We'll come back to that. One limit to know. A single time entry can't span more than 30 days from start to end. If you try to save one entry covering, say, a 6-week deployment in one shot, the system rejects it. To be clear, this is about the length of one entry, not how far in the past it is. There's no cap on backdating. You can log time from months ago. You just can't make one entry that runs longer than 30 days. So for long deployments, split the time into multiple entries, one per shift or per day. That keeps the records meaningful and keeps each entry under the limit. Admins. The Personnel dropdown shows a Pending Time Approvals link. Click. Every self-reported entry across the org. Submitted, member activity, hours, notes. Approve marks the entry final. Status changes to approved. Member can no longer edit. Reject sends it back with a rejected status. Member sees it was rejected. They can relog if they want to correct and resubmit. Approve or reject each entry one at a time, then refresh to update the queue. Same approve and reject buttons appear inline on the member's roster. Time log card if you have the perm. Auto-approve setting. It lives in settings in the RBAC section, not on a roles and permissions page. 3 modes. Off, every entry self-reported until approved. Default. On, every entry created in approved state. Use for ops where every entry was going to be approved anyway. Skip the bottleneck. By activity type, auto-approve only when the activity types row has the auto-approve flag. Net check-ins, routine, auto-approve. Drills, need scrutiny, manual approval. Pick what fits your ops. Auto-approved entries land in approved state without an admin touching them, handy for routine, recurring activities. Separate approver setting. When on, no actor can approve their own entry regardless of role. Use for ops with separation of duties, paid staff, regulatory audit, public trust roles. Off works for most volunteer ops. Reports, personnel button group, a time summary, pick a date range, get totals by member. Useful for grant reporting, how many drill hours did our org log in 2026? Filter to a single member for individual reports. Expirations covered in Module 17, relevant here too because expirations often correlate with required training time. CSV for spreadsheet analysis or mailing list generation. Recap. Log time from your own member detail. Activity types cover common volunteer activities. A single entry can't span more than 30 days. Split long deployments. Admins approve from the pending page or inline. Auto-approve modes, off, on, by activity type. Separate approver setting for separation of duties. Time summary report for grants and tax docs. Up next, Module 19, Scheduling. shifts, events, self-sign-up. See you there!